joined now by NIU D2 hockey head coach Chuck Rinaldo. And Coach Rinaldo is brought to you by the Illinois Center for Broadcasting. If you're interested in a career in broadcasting, go to beonair.com. Coach, it's nice to have you here, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, NIU is 9-4. They're number 8 in the ACHA rankings. How do you feel your team has played so far this season?
We got off to a great start. It was actually unexpected to be able to start that well. We're happy with the start. I think we had a slight hiccup this past weekend, but it's a part of the game. You're not going to win every game. You're not going to be perfect, but so far we're doing pretty well.
There we go. Now, we can hear you fine. One thing I want to touch on is the power play. You guys have only scored 11 power play goals through your first bunch of games, and 3 of those were against Madison, who really wasn't a strong team. So can you really base the performance of that power play on Madison, or do you got to wait till you play teams like you did ISU and SIUE?
No, I mean, it was expected to score power plays against Madison. It's a team that definitely doesn't give us a fair judge as to how our power play is doing. We've definitely had good control on the power play. We move the puck well. We just can't finish. So it's definitely a project for us, and it's something that's going to come along as we go here, as we get more reps over time. But it's something we're focusing a lot on in practice as well. So we'll see how it goes.
Maybe my next question, are there things you guys are doing in practice to improve the power play, maybe switching up the lines a little bit, kind of drills that you guys work on in practice?
Yeah, we're getting into a rhythm, and a lot of hockey, especially once you get into the season, it's about getting into a rhythm, getting into a schedule where guys can first of all, stay healthy and get into the routine where they're comfortable. We're getting into that where, our lines are good. We've had a couple injuries now where it may mix some things up, but our lines are good, and it's just a matter of in practice, once again, repetition. Guys knowing that when you get into the power play situation in a game, we don't have to think about it. We just need to react. We need to get in there and execute. We've got our passing, we've got our breakout going. Now it's just a matter of finding a way to take the right shot and finish.
Now, on the flip side of that, your penalty kill has been stellar so far. You guys killed off 9 penalties in 2 separate games. What do you contribute the penalty kill to being so good so far this season?
Hard work. I mean, our motto is hard work and discipline. The guys take it to another level when we're a man down, and it's something we're very proud of. The other part of it is we've had a decent amount of penalties, and it's the old tale. A golfer that's great out of the sand trap is probably because he's been in there a lot. It's the same thing with the PK. Not that we want to have a lot of penalties, but we've had a lot of chance to practice it and kind of master it at this point. But it really, penalty killing is a mentality, and we've got a hard-working team that has that mentality to pay the price and do the dirty work.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good.
This is my first time ever meeting Coach Rinaldo. So I have some pretty lofty stats here. Your top line has a total of 32 points, 17 goals, 15 assists, and 13 games played. That's Mark Greenberg, Rob Bach, and Nick Remley. Those are some pretty lofty numbers through 13 games. How do you explain that?
Part of it, I think, is it was just their time. They're veterans on the team. They're pretty much ready to step up and take that leadership role and put points up. They all had potential, and their chemistry and the way they work together is just phenomenal. And it's one of those things where it's when guys are clicking, good things happen. They complement each other with their playing styles, and we're seeing that on the stats.
Yeah, definitely seeing stats. And you got a big game with Eastern Illinois this weekend. What do you expect from that game?
We don't know much about Eastern, actually, so it's going to be kind of there's going to be a feeling out period, the first period of the series. So they're a team that they lack some depth. They do have some very good hockey players in the top line there, so it's a matter of us just trying to lock down their top players and then take advantage of their third and fourth lines.
So you and Coach David Goldsmith are both new this year, but can you talk about what an advantage it is to have Coach David Goldsmith on your bench with you, a guy that just graduated from Iowa. He's played most of your teams that NIU plays. So just talk a little bit about what it is like to have Coach Goldsmith on the coaching staff.
I'm very grateful to have Coach Goldsmith. Me being a head coach, I'm very picky about who my first assistant will be. And taking on this job, it was goal number 1 to find the right guy. And luckily, Coach Goldsmith just moved into town, and was looking for a coaching job. It was one of those things that as soon as I interviewed him, I knew he'd be the right guy. He's the type of guy, between his youth, of obviously just playing in the league, his knowledge of various players, and goes a long way. But another great thing is that he's picked it up naturally. He doesn't have a ton of coaching experience. Yeah. But he's got that coaching bug, it's in his blood, and as soon as you get a guy behind the bench and feel as comfortable as I am already with him, it's great to see.
And for those who don't know, myself and my partner Scott Sports, we broadcast all the NIU games, so we get to see Coach Rinaldo and Coach Goldsmith a lot. And what I see from Coach Goldsmith is that he has a really good way of relating to the players. He knows what they're going through and really knows how to identify with them. Is that something you've seen too? And if so, has that really helped the chemistry of this team?
Yeah, he's got great chemistry with the players. He's able to relate to them in many ways, both as pretty much still a student athlete and so close to just being out of school. But he's able to keep that authoritative side to him. So as a coach overall, that's one of the hardest things, is drawing that fine line between being a player's buddy and being able to say and do anything you want around them, but at the same time, when it's time to go to work, they really got to go to work for you, and Dave has picked that up great, so he's found a good way to do that.
Switch gears here and instead talk about your first lines, but your third and fourth lines with Sean Buds, Jared Clark, Kevin Schwartz, Maher, Serpico, and Cornier. Just talk about, I've noticed they do a really good job of back checking and forechecking and really getting on the opponent's first line stars. They can also score and make plays. Just talk about how well they've come into their own this season.
Yeah, it's going back to hard work, and these guys knowing their role is the key. A guy like Greenberg, he's a goal scorer, he knows how to handle it. A guy like Kevin Schwartz, he was a defenseman up until the start of this year, and I told him, I said, I think you're better off your strength and your hard work. You're gonna do better as a center. And he embraced that, and he realized what his role was. Cornier, all those guys, they're embracing their roles, and they're taking full advantage of every opportunity.
Well, we're going to take a quick break here on CHC, but don't go anywhere. We're going to have more with NIU D2 head coach Chuck Rinaldo. So you're listening to CHC here on SportsTownChicago.com. And we're back here on CHC with NIU D2 head coach Chuck Rinaldo, and he is brought to you by the Illinois Center for Broadcasting. If you're interested in a career, go to beonair.com. And Coach, again, thank you so much for joining us. I want to talk about the depth of your team. D2 has such a tremendous ability to put any line out there and be able to compete with the top line of the opponent. And being the broadcaster for this team, I've known that up and down, you have goal scorers, you have playmakers, but just talk a little bit about the depth and what that can put you over on any other team.
Yeah, depth changes a team completely. I mean, anytime you don't have to depend on one or two lines or one or two players, it makes things very, very easy. And the way we can go from top to bottom and be able to produce is going to take us a long way. Teams that win the Stanley Cup, teams that go deep in the playoffs, the reason they do is because they're third and fourth lines. Third and fourth lines are the reasons why their first and second lines are so productive. So to be able to see what we're getting out of our third and fourth lines are really, I mean, if we can just keep up our health and our hard work, sky's the limit for us.
And I want to talk a little bit about Justin Waterman. Earlier in the season, he left. He was out of a few games with a concussion. He came back, was playing really well through the Loyola games, and then on Friday he had a shoulder injury. If you could just elaborate on his status and how he's doing.
Yeah, actually on my way here, I just had a conversation with him, and he's pretty bummed right now. He just got back from the doctor, and he's done for 2 to 4 weeks.
Wow.
He's pushing to get to that 2 week, rather than 4 week. And the reason is obviously this is his last semester of hockey. He's actually graduating at the end of this semester. So, he's had some tough luck, but he's a positive guy. He's a team guy, and his last comment to me was, well, hey, I've had my time here. Hopefully I can get back for a couple games as long as it's not the young guys getting hurt right now.
And that's just, if anybody's ever been around Justin Waterman, that's the kind of mentality. He's kind of like the dad of the team. If my time is up, then I got to move over and bring up, like you guys did this weekend in Weems, J.C. Weems. Talk about how you thought he did in his first D2 game of the season at the RMU Showcase.
He was way beyond expectations. I mean, we were very proud of him. We know he's a good hockey player, but to be able to step into a new system, a new team basically, sure he knows the guys, but just to be able to step in and create such great results right away, it was absolutely great to see. the other great thing about Weems is that, you know, he's coming from our D3 team, which we're really hoping to keep building up. That's our, you know, if we want to call it our farm. And to be able to have guys like Weems and some other guys chomping at the bit to be able to earn a spot on the D2 team, that's what we want, because that creates even more depth for us.
And I want to go back to the RMU showcase that you guys had this last weekend. Just talk about what a positive opportunity that was at a showcase where you can promote your team to all the local players, saying, you know, look, at not only can you get a great education at NAU, but you can play on a hockey team that is just excelling at an amazing pace.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we had about 50 players there that did an on-ice evaluation for us to see them play. We did a presentation to them as well, and we're actually following up that showcase now this coming weekend for our home games. We're doing our own recruiting event.
Okay.
So we sent a lot of invitations out to those players and some other players that we've been talking to. So it's a great way to get us going on top of all the recruiting we've already been doing. And it was just fun to see all the eyes opened up. Those 50 players that we were talking to, like, wow, you know, I knew NIU had a team, but I didn't realize the capabilities you guys have. I didn't realize the setup you had, and I didn't realize you guys were winning so many darn games. So, you know, it's just great to be able to promote the program and see these people get excited about it.
And you guys went 1 for 3 on the weekend. You beat UW-Madison, and you lost to Robert Morris and ISU, who are ahead of you in your rankings. But that's the first time you guys have lost back-to-back games this season. Can you guys use that as a teaching tool? And when do you guys think that'll kick in and say, all right, now we need to get back on track?
Yeah, I mean, it's already kicked in. I mean, it kicked in the moment the buzzer went off against ISU. And one of their team goals on our board is never get swept. And to lose 2, even though we didn't get swept on the weekend, it felt like a sweep since losing 2 in a row. So it's something that they're completely and totally motivated for. And honestly, you know, our loss to ISU, I can't say it was a good thing, but at the same time, it was something that, you know, they are going to recover from and do well for.
Real quick here, Coach. We only have 1 minute left. Last question for you. There's a lot of hockey left to be played. You guys are 9-4, solid start. What do you, as a coach, have to do to make sure that this team maintains and ultimately is there at the end to compete for a champion?
Just need to keep pushing them. You know, I mean, don't let them get complacent. Don't let them feel like they've accomplished anything at this point. Having a winning record and completely turning things around is a great start. The mentality in the room is great because they're still striving for so much more. They see, you know, they see the opportunity in front of them, and it's my job to really keep them motivated and keep them working hard. They have the talent. You know, we just have to keep it together the right way.
Well, we'd like to thank you, Coach Chuck Rinaldo, for coming in and spending some time with us on our first show, our first guest in studio. So nothing but the best the rest of the season, and we'll see you Friday night at 7:30 at Fox Valley Ice Arena in Geneva, Illinois, when the NIU Huskies take on Eastern Illinois. At CHC, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on SportsTownChicago.com.